Hello, everyone. My name is Bo Hamilton, Senior Editor and Multimedia Producer here at SourceForge, the world's most visited software comparison site where B2B software buyers compare and find business software solutions. I'm excited to be here with Graham Glass, CEO and founder of CYPHER Learning. Graham's background in teaching and building tech companies really shaped the vision behind CYPHER, which is making learning smarter, faster, and easier to scale. Now, for those of you who don't know, CYPHER Learning is an AI-powered platform that combines course creation, delivery, and personalization all in one place under one umbrella. It's being used by schools, businesses, and training organizations in more than 100 countries, with the goal of helping teams build courses quicker, do things like boost completion rates, and just make learning experiences more engaging. Now, we recorded a podcast earlier this year with John Canapel, President and COO, and we discussed the future of education technology and the role AI is playing and just how CYPHER Learning fits into the picture. So definitely check out that episode if you haven't already, if you want more of a conceptual overview of the platform. Now, today in this product demo showcase, I'm really excited because Graham is going to give us a hands-on look at how the platform works, focusing specifically on CYPHER Agent, their brand new, always-on AI-powered learning agent that provides learners with personalized, just-in-time support. It's a really neat evolution of the platform that I'm excited to see in practice. So with that said, let me bring in Graham. Graham, welcome to the demo. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Bo.
Now, before I ask you to share your screen and get into the demo, I want you to share some of your philosophy behind the company. What first inspired you to start CYPHER Learning in the first place, and what gaps in learning are you trying to fill?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm a techie. So I've loved computers and building software ever since I was a little kid. And so pretty much everything that I've done, whether it was at university or in business, was involved with high tech. But in addition to that, I've always loved education. So I went to a great school in the UK. I had a fantastic time, had great teachers. I mean, when I was a kid, I was being taught math by a PhD in math, which is quite amazing. And I always felt like surely there should be a way to provide that kind of superior education to everyone in the world. So that was always been one of my kind of thoughts. And I had that thought even pre-AI, but with the advent of AI, that's obviously becoming more feasible.
Totally. And it's had a different name, I'm sure. Like we've heard machine learning, and it's had all sorts of different sort of pseudonyms over the years.
Yeah, exactly. But now people just talk about AI and ChatGPT. That's the easiest way. But I also used to teach at University of Texas, Dallas. I also started a training company. So I've seen how people learn things in corporate environments, how people learn things in education environments, K through 20. And I've always thought there has to be a more efficient way to learn. And on top of that, I've got two young boys aged 5 and 8. And I feel a strong sense of urgency right now that anything I can do to help them learn new things faster will really position themselves much better for the future. Because as you know, things are changing really rapidly. So CYPHER Learning Platform is kind of our solution to that issue. How do you get people to learn new skills faster?
Thanks for breaking that down. I love to hear kind of the background and how you got started. And obviously, so you worked in education and tech growing up, and I'm sure you've watched like Star Trek as a child and maybe X-Files or Twilight Zone, right?
Star Trek was my favorite TV show. And one of the things I loved about Star Trek is they had the ship's computer. And I remember as a kid feeling quite jealous, like I wish I had that in my bedroom, like to help me do stuff. And so now, of course, we're living in an age where everyone does have kind of like a ship's computer in your pocket.
Yeah. It's amazing to see like it really sci-fi coming to life here with some of these AI tools. Now we just need, the next evolution would just be, speaking a command and then having it sort of 3D print whatever you want on demand. That's kind of the next bridge, I suppose.
I mean, soon my son's got a 3D printer and he uses ChatGPT voice all the time. So coming, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Thanks for sharing that. I love, again, hearing about your experiences and how it shaped CYPHER Learning. So one thing I want to ask before we jump into the demo is what's one thing you'd want people to just keep in mind as they watch the demo?
So I would think when they watch the demo, think about how much time would this have taken you without AI? Because that's really, the biggest selling point. It's about saving people time, learning new skills faster. So I would say the biggest thing is think about how much time and money this would have taken without. The second thing is, and I'll mention this several times in the demo, is that what I'm about to show you is scratching the surface of what we are coming out in the next 3 to 6 months. So I already kind of know what's being built. I think your users are going to like what they see, but there's a lot more where that came from.
All right, very exciting. So yeah, keep in mind the efficiency gains as a main sort of selling point here. Um, all right, well, let's have you share your screen and let's get right into it.
So what I'll do is I'm going to talk you through just a few of the most important things about our platform. So what you should be seeing here is the kind of dashboard that you would see when you log in. And I'm showing you the instructor view. So the learner view would be simpler than this, but there's a lot of functionality available to instructors. And it is a learning platform, but I'm not going to bore you with all the little details, but you get calendars and messages and reporting and course catalog, etc. But I'm really going to focus on just a few really high impact things. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is courses. And so, of course, since we are a learning platform, the bread and butter, at least right now, is courses. And what you're looking at right now is a course on gamification, because we do have world-class gamification. And so I wanted to create a course, which is how do you gamify courses. And I'm going to give you a little tour of what a course looks like on our site. And then I'll talk a little bit about how you could use AI.
Sure.
So in this particular case, the course is made out of 10 modules. All of these modules have nice looking graphics to them. Before I go into the actual courses themselves, we're really into aligning skills to wherever it is you are learning from. So in this particular case, the course is actually covering all of these skills, which are organized into a hierarchy. And then that way you can tell this is what the course is teaching. And ideally, as the learner goes through the course and they are answering quiz questions or written questions or whatever they are, the learners can show that they are actually learning all of these materials. So coming back to the modules, if I go into a module like why gamify your e-learning course in the first place, you'll see that this is built out of 3 individual sections. And before I go into a section, I will point out that we have linked this particular module to this particular skill. And as I mentioned, if you go through the course, you will find that each module is teaching a separate set of skills. And that way we're getting full skill coverage as we go through the course. Now what I'll do, I'll go down into a particular section. And this is, we have different kinds of courses. This is kind of like bite-sized learning, which honestly, a lot of people prefer these days. So we've got a nice image. We're giving the specific bit of content. And then as a learner would go through the course, they would gradually go through these little kind of learning cards, if you like. So it's a really kind of pleasant experience.
Yeah, this would be for me because my attention span is so short nowadays. I like the little bite-sized chunks.
I know it's like that's a common thing, isn't it? People want to learn things
unfortunately
quickly.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is exactly why learning things quickly is so important, because the attention span of each generation does seem to gradually go down.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ways that we allow people to make courses more fun is by gamifying them. So for example, in this particular course, I built a game, Mastering E-Learning. And you can see like I've got these 5 different levels that you can achieve. Each level has points. When I achieve a particular level, I get things like badges or messages. And in addition, I've sprinkled various automation rules throughout this course. So our system has a very deep automation support, which anywhere on our system allows you to program rules which say, when a particular thing happens, perform a particular action. So for example, when you complete the first module, you're going to get 100 points. And if you want to see where I set that up, go to module 1. Under completion, it says, when this thing is completed, I want you to do the following, give you 100 points. And I will
Gotcha.
mention, just as an aside, because it's an important and distinguishing feature, our automation support allows you to do so much. Like when a particular thing happens, you can give points, you can give a certificate, give them an e-commerce discount coupon. You can integrate with third-party systems with webhooks. You can add people into groups, enroll them in courses, tag them, all kinds of stuff. But for the purposes of this particular demonstration, you've noticed that I've got a bunch of modules built out of sections with really nice animations. I've got a game, and I've wired up the whole course so that it's all powered by automation and gamification. Now, if I
Yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I have to comment on the UI and how much information is here, but at the same time, it all is very digestible, right? Like
Oh,
it doesn't
thank you.
seem too overwhelming, and the pictures are inviting, and I think the reward system just. I know you have more to add to it, but to say there, but having a reward system is so important, right? Just with the way our brains are set up, we need that sort of um,
Yeah. And
goal.
I'll tell you something funny, because when we were building the gamification, which we
Mhm.
built years ago, we just naturally thought, well, kids are going to enjoy it the most, followed by university students, followed by businesses, because we thought, oh, businesses, they're going to think it's cutesy, not that important.
Mhm.
In reality, it's the other way around. So businesses actually use it the most, followed by universities, followed by kids. Isn't that
That is
cool?
funny. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, the nice thing is once you've set up a course with all this stuff, then as the various learners go through the courses, this grid would fill up to show you exactly what level of skill in every one of these skills these learners were achieving in real time. So we try to give a really deep analytics, because that can then drive recommendations and other things. So if
Now,
I've done my job well, a lot of people who watch this might be going, this looks really, really cool, but oh my goodness, this must have taken days to set up. So here's the little twist, is that this course was built by AI in 10 minutes.
wow.
Everything that you saw was built really, really fast. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to build a course in a minute. And one thing I do want to underscore is that every single thing that the AIs do when they build a course can be modified by you. It's not like some set in stone thing like take it or leave it. You can actually go in, reorganize modules, change sections, change the skills, do whatever you want, either before the creation process or during it, because we support step-by-step creation, or once it's been done.
That's a great distinction there, because like you don't have to you don't have to start all the way from scratch and rebuild it. You can go in and edit it after the fact, right?
Exactly. And
Mhm.
I designed and created a lot of courses myself, both at university and when I was teaching in industry. And it was a very, very time consuming process. And what makes a course special is usually 5 to 10% of the nuance or the examples or the analogies, but a lot of the bulk of the course is not really that special. So what we've found from feedback from our customers, which is we get 80% done, that way they can spend their time in the 20% that really matters. The other thing that I've found is because you can build courses so fast and it's relatively inexpensive, it costs like less than $10 to create that course, you can generate 5 different versions of the same course at the same time and then pick the one that speaks to you and then evolve that.
Mm.
So I'll show
Wow.
you how easy it is. I'm going to say, I'm going to build a course. And what would you like a course on, Bo? Pick a course.
Let's do deep sea creatures.
Deep sea creatures. Maybe it's deep sea like that. Okay.
There you go.
And in this particular case, I'm going to get assistance from CYPHER Agent. So everything that I'm about to do, you could do by hand if you really wanted to. And in this particular case now, I'm just going to pick, it's going to be intermediate for, maybe it's going to be for teenagers. I want a casual style. You can put in here, use a particular example. Mention the Mariana Trench, for example, if you want to. So I can say Mariana Trench. Pick your language up to 50 different languages. Step by step means that at every point in the creation, it'll pause and say, would you like to make any modifications? But in this case, I'm going to do all at once. I'm going to create AI tiles, micro format, and then in my content, I'm going to include AI imagery. But there's a lot of stuff like this is a very cool one. Cross-check with another AI. So I believe this is unique to us. Obviously, a lot of people are concerned that what happens if the AI is making a mistake? So we use premium AIs, and the output from one AI is cross-checked for accuracy by a premium AI from a completely different vendor. And then that way we try and reduce the possibility of hallucinations.
Right. Yeah, that is really important.
And I can generate quizzes if I want to, and then everything will be automatically tagged. I can gamify it. And I think that's enough for right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of these visuals too.
I'm going to say here, let's see, continue, create. And this will take a little bit of time. So while it's doing its thing, I'm going to switch gears and talk about something else in our platform. But as you can see, CYPHER Agent is now busy at work, and it's going to figure out what skills it's going to teach. Then it's going to go into the course overview. Then it's going to come back. So what we will do, we'll leave this running. It's probably going to take about 10 minutes. And while it's doing that, we can talk about learning in the moment, which is another very cool thing. So does that sound good?
That sounds great. Yeah.
So it's interesting. If you look at the way that people learn in real life, people really like to learn in the moment. So there's a particular thing I'm interested in, or I need to prepare for a meeting, or there's a particular task at hand. And so I'm not going to take a course to learn that. It just takes too long. And, as we mentioned before, people want things immediately, especially these days. They don't have too much patience.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that.
Well, people will normally Google it, or they'll YouTube it, or now they'll ChatGPT it. That's the typical kind of learning in the moment. And that's what I do all the time. It actually works great. But what we wanted to do is to bring a superior experience that was fully integrated into the learning environment. And I'll talk a bit more about what I mean by that, but let me show you an example. So this is how I summon the agent. One of the things I want to do is learn anything quickly with the help of an AI agent. So it's giving you a whole bunch of possibilities here. I want to learn right now about DC creatures.
Now, I'm curious. While it's loading here, can you use the agent to create just parts of a course, or is it capable of tackling an entire?
Yeah, you can generate tiny little bits, medium bits, or big bits. So if you've got an existing course, regardless of whether it was added by AI, you can gamify it. If you've got a course and you want to add a few more modules, you can do that. If you want to generate question banks and put them in your resources catalog, you can do that.
Gotcha.
So it's
you
anywhere
just keep
from
on adding to it
to the entire course. So here I am using CYPHER Agent to teach me about deep sea creatures. So you'll see that it's not a wall of text. It's actually creating something a bit more structured. So a little intro and a concept map. And the concept map is showing you here are all the things that I could teach you about with regards to deep sea creatures. Now, if you've got some time in your hands, if you want to, you can always go section by section. So I can click next section and it'll take me, you can see the table of contents on the left there. And that's a way where it's like an interactive tutorial and I can go step by step, and in a few minutes I can get a really deep dive. But alternatively, it might well be that when you go to the concept map, you might go, well, for right now, that's the particular area that I want to learn about. You can click in the concept map and it will take you there directly. So I'll show you that in just a second. But if you've got eagle eyes, you might have noticed that when it was generating this content, in the upper right, it was saying verifying accuracy. So in real time, we're actually feeding this output to a different AI, cross-checking it. So as you're learning in the moment, you can be pretty sure that this stuff is accurate.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, and I just say it looks just like it's giving me flashbacks to some of the textbooks I would read at school. With some of the shaded bubble boxes here and mind maps, concept maps. It feels like I'm back in school, like reading a textbook.
Well, that's probably a good thing. Like
Yeah.
if I go, hey, actually, this chemosynthesis is really, or chemosynthesis is really what I want. You can click there and it's showing you this particular area is covering this particular concept. So now you can go straight in here. So it's going to generate just this one particular section. But the other thing I want to mention is this is a conversational tutorial, which means that you can talk to the AI at any point and ask it questions about what you're reading. So you can say, sunlight is almost completely absent. You know, at what depth does sunlight go away? And you'll notice it's even embedding chemical formula and all kinds of stuff here. So here we go. It goes down to about 200 meters. That's enough light. And at that point, it basically gets cut off.
Hey, we have mention of the Twilight Zone. I think we just went full circle here.
But a few other things I want to mention. So one of the holy grails of e-learning was always really personalized learning. And the agent knows all about me. It knows my profession, which courses I'm in, which things I'm strong in, which things I need, new skills in. And I can always, and when I ask it to teach me about something, it will take all of that into account. But I can also force it. I can say something like, teach me about digital learning using analogies from Minecraft. So that's kind of a silly one. But this will give you an idea that this content is not being loaded from some database somewhere that we've licensed. It's generating fresh content every single time, and it's taking anything that I want into account. And my son would love this because he's absolutely obsessed by Minecraft.
Yeah, no, I'm a Minecraft kid myself.
Yeah. And so here we go. It's digital workflows and processes, but it takes into account Redstone, of which I am actually quite familiar.
Yeah.
Part of our bedtime stories is reading Encyclopedia of Minecraft.
Oh, wow.
So this is so cool. Like redstone circuits in Minecraft act as the wiring that brings machine mechanisms to life. In digital learning, da-da-da-da-da-da. So it does a really good job of understanding you and teaching everything in terms that will resonate with you. And a few other things while I'm at it. If you want to do binge learning, it'll take you to related subjects. So you can go through a deep dive if you happen to be in the moment. If you're not, you just want to get in and get out, it gives you a really nice structured way to do this. But also, as I'm about to show you, this Learn tool is deeply integrated into the platform. It's not designed to just be learning in the moment. As a standalone, it knows all about our platform. So for example, let's go back to the course that I showed you earlier, Gamifying e-learning courses. And you can do this from a student. I'm showing you the instructor view, but it's the same thing. Let's just say I go into here and I go, I'm really interested in that particular thing. So you're in a course. Now you can go learn using AI. And now what it did, it launched the built-in learning tool on that specific skill that you were learning in that specific course. So the way that when we are adding features, we try really hard to integrate every feature with all the other features in our platform. So you can kind of move backwards and forwards fluid. It's not like I go to ChatGPT, there's a wall of text, it's got no idea what I'm doing, doesn't know all about my courses. Then I go back into this thing, then I do something, then I go back to GPT. This thing is, it's a really nice integrated experience.
So how long has this feature been available?
So the first version of this feature has been available, I think, for around three to 6 months. We just released, though, something called Agent Knowledge Base, which is the next iteration of this. So I'm going to show you what Agent Knowledge Base means. So the general idea is you want the Learn tool to take into account your own proprietary data, not just what's in the public domain. So in an organization, the marketing department could upload videos, PDFs, Microsoft Word documents, you name it, into the resources catalog and say, make this available just to the marketing department's agent knowledge base. And engineering could have its own knowledge base, and it's all built into our resources catalog, which makes it really nice. But if I click on this is a fictitious product, Astro Core. So we just did it for, for demo purposes. So there is actually no Astro Core HR tool.
Not
And
yet.
now if I go into the agent and I go, I want to learn about Astro Core HR tool. CYPHER Agent has access to your agent knowledge base, so it's going to take all of that proprietary information too.
Wow, very cool. So from a privacy standpoint, how do you handle the proprietary files that you upload to the platform?
So we guarantee that none of the information that you ever enter into our platform is ever in it or ever used to train an AI. So we use companies that provide APIs to this, where the APIs themselves guarantee no sharing, no training. So you can safely upload whatever amount of information that you want to. People can then generate courses out of the knowledge base. They can learn from the knowledge base. And later on, as I'm going to mention towards the end, tons of other stuff off of the knowledge base.
Very cool. Yeah, I know it's a kind of uncomfortable question, but it's I'm sure it's on the back
I
of
mean,
many people's minds.
It's a really important thing, and that's one of the areas that's a big strength for us, which is we want AI to be safe and easy to use. We don't want people having to. Hang on a sec. What am I doing? Oh no, I clicked on the wrong minute. I'm trying to find the course that we were building. Here we go. Deep sea creatures. We want people to be very confident using AI, that it's cross-checked for accuracy. Nothing is leaking out. We make it super easy. You never have to know a single prompt. You don't have to know ChatGPT or any of these things. It's just super easy for the average person.
Yeah, keep the learning curve down and just be proactive about the security policies.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So here we are. This is the course that you requested, Bo. Deep sea.
I love these visuals, man. I'm a big visual guy, and this is great.
Yeah, these are beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we can take a look at, here are all the knowledge that is being taught. And it's all nicely organized. If we go into a module, you will see content, obviously. So here's some of the, and notice cross-checked and information was confirmed to be accurate. So that's another checkbox. Like, now I don't have to worry about cross-checking every single thing. One thing I should have mentioned is that these images are also generated by AI. So you don't have to worry about copyright for any of this stuff either. And then if I go forward here, we did say, can you generate some quizzes? So here are some quizzes that were generated. Generated a really nice set of questions. And every single question is tied back to the specific skill that is it is assessing. And if this wasn't done by AI, this would be a massive effort. But with AI, it's no effort at all. It's really...
Yeah, I mean, this would take weeks, if not months, to put together.
Yep. And also, we gamified it. So here is the game, Coastal Explorer, Mariana Master. And remember, I said you have to mention the Mariana Trench. So this is where some of that's...
There we go, yep.
It's all gamified. All the automation rules have been put in place. And so now you can add learners to the course, and they can enjoy learning about deep sea creatures. And, one of the things that we do feel is that making it really easy for anyone to create a course means that you're starting to democratize the way that educational materials are created and consumed. So in CYPHER Learning, for example, our DevOps team used our own platform to put together courses for their own, for other people in DevOps. They didn't have to wait on an L&D person, for example, to do that particular thing. So you start having lines of business starting to create their own materials without necessarily relying on L&D, because L&D groups are typically quite overworked,
right?
As you can probably imagine.
So I want to comment really quick on some of the admin controls, because I noticed it was on the right-hand side, and you've kind of bounced into the some of the menus with looking at specific students, for example. So we know that CYPHER Learning is being used by thousands of schools. A big component of the platform is just handling all the complex tasks for managing, student information and communications and whatnot. So can you just talk about some of the admin tools that are in place right now?
Yeah, so it's quite an interesting anecdote where we had some really big universities adopt CYPHER Learning years and years ago. And in their previous platform, they had a whole team of admins. It was like a full-time job, fixing problems with the system, onboarding people, dealing with issues, et cetera, et cetera. And when they adopted the CYPHER platform, they had one person working like 1 or 2 hours a day doing everything that was necessary. So,
Jeez.
one of the ways that we do that is we make it really easy to understand. We make it very easy to navigate, to find out information, and we use heavy use of automation from the admin's perspective. So I'll just give you a simple example. If I go into the admin area, I can come to accounts. And this is where you can see, what are the various account types that you've got, customer type, custom fields, etc. And rules is a really important one. So this is where you can say, when you add a new user to the system, what is going to be the process during which they are onboarding. So you can do simple things like when you add an account, if they are a learner, send them a welcome email 1 hour after they've onboarded. But you can say, if it's an instructor, then automatically put them into the course, which is how to create courses in CYPHER Learning, and perhaps only do that if they live in the United States of America. So the rules can be as general or as specific as you want. So by setting up all these various different automation rules, it relieves a huge amount of administrative burden. Or like another example of automation is customers would say, well, if somebody hasn't logged in for at least a week, how do we find out those users and how we get in touch with them? So I can come in here and I can say, hey, we're going to consider you inactive if you haven't been in our site for 225 days. Just pick a number. And then if you have been inactive for that long, I want to perform the following actions. I'm going to send you a notification. Hey, dear, user first name, we're missing you. You get the general idea.
Yep.
So, industry-leading automation really reduces the burden on administrators.
Yeah, no, that's a powerful tool. It makes me think of the smart home protocol. I think it's now shuttered, but it was back in the day. It was IFTTT. It was if this, then that. And basically you set up these kind of formulas, these recipes where it's like when you arrive home, you want all of your smart lights to turn on, and it's creating these like if this, then that happens.
That is exactly how it is. I want to show you just one other thing, because there were 3 main things I wanted to show you. And this one is to do with achieving skills goals. So here's my trusty demo student, Sally Johnson, with a cute cap. And I'm going to log in as Sally. And so, I think I mentioned the way that we kind of describe our platform is it allows you to build new skills faster. It does a lot of other things, but ultimately that's like the main goal. So users can add goals to our system. So they've got courses that they're in, groups that they're in. They can see the course catalog, but they can add goals. And these goals can either be particular skills associated with jobs, or they can simply be, I want to master a particular set of skills independent of a job. So in this case, Sally has said, I want to be a top-notch digital marketing manager, and I want to master advanced design fundamentals as an example. So if I click on digital marketing manager, this was set up originally by administrator. Here are all the skills that you need in order to be a great digital marketing manager at our company, because it's clearly going to vary by company.
Right.
And as Sally is taking courses and they're learning new things with Learn, we are updating their skills ratings. So we've got plenty of evidence that you're really good at logo design, you're really good at this, but we don't have any measurements so far to show that you are particularly good at this. And if you're curious, you can always click on details and the system will actually show you exactly what measurements were taken. And so we know how the system came to that conclusion. And once we know which skills you want to get good at and which ones you still have to go, we can start making you recommendations. So in this particular case, the system's saying, hey, you could join this particular social group because people here are really good at digital marketing managers. And
Interesting. So
also,
there's a social aspect to this as well. I didn't expect that.
yep, yeah, we're really into the social aspects.
Hmm.
Or let's just say, for example, hey, I'm not so good at this. I'm going to go ahead and click on learn, and I'm going to use AI to learn about those specific missing skills right now. So by using AI, learners are no longer at the mercy of whether there is a course in our system or not. And every single time you interact with an AI, we're recording all the details of that interaction to thereby update what it is you're learning about. Now, this is an interesting one. Look, potentially inaccurate. And if I hover over it, it's telling me it's not like it was completely wrong, but it does say, hey, network theory actually really means this versus that. So as a learner can go, okay, good. Thanks for letting me know. I'll bear that into account as I go through this learning experience.
Now, is this also where you're able to maybe take some quizzes to help you become more sufficient in a certain area?
So I'm really glad you mentioned that. So at this point in our discussion, Bo, would you like me to talk a little bit about what's coming next?
Yeah, the product roadmap.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Let's hear
So
about it.
we have an amazing product roadmap between now and the end of the year. We've been very busy beavers. And there's bread and butter things that are coming out and then much more advanced things. So for example, in the Learn tool, pretty soon we're going to be automatically inserting images into the feed. So you're going to get imagery during the learning process. So that's kind of a version 2 of Learn. The really big thing we're focused on right now is complete end-to-end skills development, which means that pretty soon CYPHER Agent is going to allow to be able to assess your skills, plan your career with you, come up with skills plans that are all actionable with a click of a button, tracking your entire way through skills, allowing you to practice skills, and then allowing that complete end-to-end cycle. So you could say, I want this as a career. Well, in that case, you need these skills. How can I learn these skills? Here are some courses that I can teach you right now. Hey, I learned right now. Great. Let me assess you to find out whether you got them. Now you've assessed. Would you like to practice these skills? Now you have the opportunity for additional career advancement. So CYPHER Agent right now is pretty powerful, but it's going to go to a whole nother level quite soon.
Very exciting. Yeah, I imagine you have a whole list of features you want to keep adding and things you want to continue to refine. I mean, one thing I know we've kind of alluded to, and I think you mentioned in the introduction, is just like how fast this AI moment we're in is moving, right? And then the developments are just like on a monthly basis. We have all these new capabilities. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really exciting to see what you're gonna come up with in the coming just next few months, 3 to 6 months, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, because I have to say, as an individual, it's really exciting because I started the company years ago with this vision in mind, but before AI was available. So we tried our very best with this vision, but if you've got no AI powering it, it's pretty tough. And when AI burst on the scene, we already knew exactly what we were going to do. And at that point, it's like off to the races.
Totally. Well, that's tons of great insights. Thank you for walking us through this demo. I know one big thing you wanted to have viewers keep in mind while watching this was just the time saving aspect, the efficiency gains. Because I mean, looking through some of these modules, I mean, just imagining like a teacher having to create these kind of curriculums and courses, it would take days, weeks, maybe even months. So it's pretty incredible to see within 10 minutes you have a whole course on deep sea creatures, for example. Is there any other takeaway you can think of that you'd like to leave viewers?
Yeah, I think so. This is my take on the industry in general, and that is our industry has been typically oriented around courses. People build courses, people take courses, it's one size fits all. You click through the course, you learn, or maybe you don't learn and you're done. And we have never taken our eye off that ball. I think we've probably got one of the best course creation systems in the world at this point, and it's going to get way better than it is now because of things we're working on. But simultaneously, I also think that the shift is going to be much more towards just-in-time learning. So we're not taking our eye off the traditional learning experience, but we are putting a lot of effort into what comes after courses. And my personal belief is that within maybe even a couple of years, people will use courses for compliance, for onboarding, for like in a university environment for maybe semester-long things. Training companies will still sell courses on, how to do X. In the corporate environment where people are upskilling and reskilling and learning all the time, it's going to become 95% plus just-in-time AI-powered learning and 5% courses. That's what I think is going to happen really, really quickly. So that's the puck that we are skating to as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's really interesting to think about, and just how it's going to affect and change kind of society as a whole. Thinking about the old way of doing things, and then this new sort of on-demand learning, the ripple effect. It's fascinating. I'm sure we could have a whole other podcast discussion about that topic.
Well, I will share one little story because I think it is relevant. My older boy is 8, and I introduced him to AI 2 years ago. He doesn't have access to it whenever he wants it. It always has to be through daddy. And we always use voice mode. We don't type anything in. We just like talk to the AI. So we're both very comfortable. We say, "Hey, AI," and then ask the question. So he came back to me after school and goes, "Oh, some friends and I, we thought it'd be so cool to think about, could we buy and develop our own private island?" It was like a little fantasy that these boys had. And then he showed me what he had already done using some AI, and he'd built a whole project, like a little book with pictures, paragraphs, investigating biomes. How much would it cost to construct there? He was using his elementary math to figure out the cost of building things on the island, like all under his own steam. No help by money. And he wasn't using AI to cheat. He was using AI as a sidekick to accelerate it. It's like every parent's dream. Your 8-year-old building a project on his own about building a private island. So this is why I'm very, very positive about the effects of AI on education.
Yeah, I can't remember who said this, but I think it was last week. Somebody was saying the next big, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk type figure is going to be someone now who's vibe coding and working on, it could be this an island idea, but it could be who knows what. But it's maybe a kid nowadays who's just using some of these AI tools to just go wild.
Yeah. So much of it is thinking out of the box. Like even myself, you can't help but think inside the box. I try to, my main role at the company is CTO, even though I am the founder. But I try to think out of the box as much as possible. But there's going to be someone somewhere that completely rethinking a new field and build something totally different and unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to think out of the box and then continue to kind of work out that critical thinking muscle, because that's going to be something that's going to be kind of lacking as we get more dependent on these AI tools, right?
And that's why, boys and girls, don't use AI to replace your brain.
100%. That is a good takeaway. That's a good, I think, stopping point right there. I want to ask you. So for those viewers listening right now, watching, and are interested in trying the CYPHER platform, where should they go? What's the best place to go?
Just go to CYPHER Learning. That's CYPHER Learning.com, and tons of information, videos. You can contact us to get access to the platform, but it's got a lot of information there. You'll like it.
Perfect. CYPHERlearning.com. That's easy to remember. Graham, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you again for all the insights and just walking us through this demo.
Great questions. I really enjoyed our conversation throughout.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad I learned a lot more, and I'd love to have you back one of these days. Continue talking about this subject, and just it's your platform's growing so fast, and there's going to be so many new features just in the next 3 to 6 months. I'd love to have you back and talk about it.
That would be great. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I'm your host, Bo Hamilton. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our upcoming B2B software related podcasts and product demos. I will talk to you in the next one.